The last time I talked about what you are not, and then I sent you home. So what you are not, last time I used the word the narrative self. So the narrative self is this mental loop in your left hemisphere. This commentator filled with stories from the past, stories from the future, and it's a conceptual process, and it needs constant maintenance because it's illusionary, so it lives from continue to loop. And it is mixed with a contraction in the body, so that's why it feels so serious and so real. So the mental loop, there's a few things happening in this mental loop. One is, what about me? And for many of us, it is also, I'm not good enough. So what about me? And I'm not good enough. And I want to have a better past, and I want to have a safe future. So we are identified with that. We are identified with that mental loop, which needs to maintain itself all the time. That's why you don't shut up. And it creates, it's addicted to problems. It needs problems. And it always finds problems because there's problems in the past and problems in the future. And obviously, the problems in the past and the problems in the future are imagined. They are a story. But these stories, they create a contraction in your mind body, in your subtle energy body. So it is mixed with a feeling of a central position. In this mental loop, combined with these sensations in your body, they create the illusion of a separate, singular, permanent I. So we have a sense that there is a kind of I which jumps from moment to moment, from day to day, from week to week, from year to year. And this illusion of separateness so makes you feel alone, disconnected. And it makes us inconsiderate. So this mental loop separates us from the body, from our body, which is this planet. If you want to kind of keep it small. So if you want to keep it small, then you are, this planet is your body, and this mental loop suggests that you are separate from that. It creates like a cocoon and around your beingness, around your aliveness. And you collapse into that cocoon and you look from there. You feel centralized. There's a central position from where you look into the world, which is separate from you. So this mental loop, which needs constant maintenance, this is what you are not. And it's the root of all problems. It's the root of your so-called personal problems, but it's also the root for climate change and war and torture and rape and everything else. So in the Buddhist tradition, quite often the tendency is to just point to what you are not. In Advaita Vedanta, neti neti. You're not this, you're not that. Or the Buddha saying, nothing within your experience is worth to be called me or mine. The content of your experience, that which we usually identify with, is not who you are. A favorite word of this mental loop is mine. So this mental loop claims the experiences you have. It's not thoughts and feelings and sensations and problems. It's my thoughts, my feelings, my problems. And obviously, as we now see, the mine or my is a word, it's a label. And then we stick it on our experience, and then it seems to be there, and we forget that we put our name onto our thoughts, our feelings, our sensations. And it seems to be how it is. So it's amazing to experience for a short moment a space of experience, this space, without the word mine. Or at least imagine if that word would disappear. So in the Heart Sutra, the Buddha points to what you're not. So he takes all the things you think you are, all that which you will lose at the time of death, in the death process, all the things you will lose. So he points to that. You are not this, you are not that, and also this and that. And then in one Prajnaparamita Sutra it says, and the monks vomited and fainted. So resistance is to be expected, but it's futile. So resistance in all kinds of ways. Yeah? So resistance of, I can't understand this is philosophy, how does this help me with my problems? Or, yeah, I've thought about it before and I didn't understand it then, so why should I think about it again? And then if it gets fused with the I'm not enough, I'm not spiritual enough, I'm not advanced enough, I have not meditated enough, then so that becomes part of the resistance. And of course it has to resist this message because it's death. So now it would be a good pedagogic to stay there and just point to what you're not, like the Buddha did in the Heart Sutra. But sometimes it also makes sense to appreciate when you see what you're not, that is not the end. It's not like that you disappear. So if you would imagine, I could kind of take a magic wand and erase all the mine in your conceptual loop, and also I could erase all what is not real, past and future. I mean, I think we have to agree on it's not real. The past seems to be more real, but it exists in the same domain as the future. It's a memory. Either you memorize, you have a memory of the future, or you have a memory of the past. It's made from the same stuff as your dreams are. So imagine I could kind of take the magic wand, or the Buddha behind me, and you would experience a moment of reality. What is reality? I mean, if there's reality, then for sure it's this. So if you imagine that would be possible, and sometimes that happens, like in deep meditation, or through other experiences where you forget yourself. Maybe in nature, making love, in spiritual places, sometimes in spiritual practice. In that moment when this cloud would lift and this cocoon would start to dissolve, or at least would become more transparent, it's obvious that you still exist. Nothing would change in this moment. There would be this voice, there would be what you see, there would be thoughts and feelings. So nothing would change, but it would be amazing. So when what you're not is pointed out, and stopping there, kind of pausing there, then something can reveal itself. And that's something which reveals itself. It's not a something. But that what reveals itself, beingness, being present. That is fundamental well. That is fundamentally free. That is naturally peace. That is naturally unconditioned love. And the loop, by seeking and kind of trying to fix the past, seeking a safe future, and seeking something else than this, that prevents us to allow this fundamental well-being to reveal itself. So this fundamental well-being has many different names in the different traditions. In the Buddhist tradition it's called the nature of your mind, or ultimate bodhicitta, or Buddha nature, or pure awareness, unconditioned awareness. The Tibetan term for that is Rigpa, and the Tibetan word for that is Sam. So the problem with talking about what I want to talk about tonight is that I'm talking about something which is undescribable and ungraspable. So what usually happens is that which is listening is the loop. So the loop pretends to be interested in non-dual awareness because it thinks that experience non-dual awareness will make it a better I, a better self. Before it was I'm not good enough self, and now it sees the opportunity to be I am an awakened self. I'm a spiritual self. I am one with everything. I am God, and that's much better than being the not good enough self. And it will refuse the simple truth, the simple insight that what you are is undescribable and ungraspable. So I have no idea how to do this. So my intention is a bit to talk from that which is already free to that which is already free. And with that, to confirm or empower that which is not afraid. And allow the selfing process to its thing, comparing, hoping, trying to do something, trying to understand. So that's fine. So it could be, it's even helpful if you get some useful things for this mental loop. I mean, it's definitely better if it runs with I'm good enough instead of I'm not enough. Yeah. So it's both a fantasy, it has nothing to do with who you are, but it's quite often important for us, and a lot of Buddhist teachings have that purpose, to dream ourselves into a better dream, so that that which you are can reveal itself. And then that's the end of what you think you are. So let's see how it goes. If I can can satisfy a bit the rational zone, but at the same time kind of talking to that which is behind that. So let's sit quietly with that. I will guide a bit, sometimes talking to the selfing loop, sometimes talking to the undescribable, ungraspable within you. And first we take some time to make a little shift from the busyness of the day to noticing your inner life, noticing the inner weather as it is. So there might be a sense of shifting from the head into the body, into the energy of your body. For some people it's helpful to slide on the breath into the body. So you place lightly your awareness to the breath. It's not necessary, but it could be helpful. And then you just sink or slide or drop even down into your feet. And then if you notice that you try to get something or you try to get rid of something, allow yourself to soften, so that there is actually really space for you, for your own energy as it is. experience the energy in your body more fully, as full as you, as whole and as full as possible. And this includes resistance and struggle, discomfort and comfort. And it might be possible with the out breath to release some of the struggle, kind of just soften a tiny little bit. And then if you notice that you get entangled in the loop, then the invitation is to drop back. Neither stopping the loop, but also not emphasizing. The invitation is for a few minutes not to rely on thoughts, to unhook from thinking. So as best as you can, you don't label the experience. Returning and resting. Give yourself the permission to do nothing. This might be difficult for manipulative meditators. And so that's fine if you have this habit. The invitation now is to let go of the control freak and the meditator. And whatever is in the foreground, pleasant or unpleasant, just notice what happens if you imagine there would be no label on it. Resting. And then it might be already possible for you to have a sense of that which is bigger than you. I have a sense of a stillness which arises when we sit quietly together. A peace, a kind of peace, which is underlying and surrounding and pervading sensations and thoughts. And no thought can bring you to that peace. So it makes no sense to rely on thoughts to bring you to contentment. So you let yourself be meditated by the field of stillness or the field of presence which we share. And there's nothing to do. There's nothing you need to understand. There's no technique you need to apply. It's more like listening, or it's more like taking a bath. It's not hard to take a bath. It's allowing, softening into the warmth which is already here. And appreciate how the mental loop is trying to make it better, or is commenting. Just let it do its thing. Just rest. Softening the grasping. It could be initially compared with an ocean which is very turbulent on the surface, so that's thoughts and feelings, sensations, sounds, and suddenly you sink into the depth, into the stillness, and you dissolve. It is recognized that it is this peace from where you are looking from. It is this space from where you're looking from. It is unconditioned love. It is unconditioned love because judgment belongs to the domain of the narrative self. notice that the stillness, the peace, the presence is already aware of itself. It is already aware of itself. And the mental process, the loop, can't know it. It's completely useless in that domain. Unhook from thinking, rely on stillness. And here natural stillness, you don't need to calm down. It's bigger than that. Could you allow yourself to find a place of rest in the midst of your experience, just as it is? Neither adding something to the experience nor trying to take something away. Just resting, just listening with your heart. Just opening. Could be that there is a sense of contraction, kind of an energetic contraction. But appreciate that there is also something which is bigger than that. You can't know what it is, but it knows itself already. It's not found in the movements. Appreciate how the maintenance of the selfing process interferes with being here, in this moment where you have everything you need. Just make yourself bigger. So what is here if there is no mine or me? What is here if there is no problem to solve? So the commentary is happening, don't rely on it. Rely on the mystery of not knowing what this is. So I will talk a little, and then after the break, there's time for questions, because it is very good to explore this in dialogue. So I already mentioned kind of trap, which is possible when words are being made about that which is ungraspable and undescribable. Because what happens is that the I will struggle a lot to understand this. The loop will try to understand what is being shared. And this is a huge obstacle. It takes sometimes years of trying to understand until it really hits home that what is being shared, the deepest teachings within the Tibetan tradition, they are undescribable, ungraspable. And that hits home. There's a relief. Until then, you might need to read a bit more books about reality and selfing process and trying to understand. As I said, a lot of the Buddhist teachings, or let's say healing methods, like psychotherapy, they are useful in the sense that they are illusionary techniques for illusionary problems of illusionary people. And you dream yourself into a better dream. So that the truth, it sounds so true, the ungraspable, the undescribable, which is the end of seeking, the ungraspable, undescribable is the end of seeking, so that it is more likely that it can reveal itself. If you're in a panic attack, it's very difficult to step out of that and to kind of realize this is not who I am. Why not? Because I am aware. Are you aware that you're in a panic attack? Yeah. Yeah, see, you are not that. You are aware. So in the moment where you admit that you're aware, you already stepped a bit out of the identification. So not only this loop tries to understand what is being shared, it also pretends to want to have it. And that's the marketing trick of the Tibetan tradition. They pretend that there's something in for you, so you start, the self-improvement project of becoming more compassionate, becoming more, like just polishing the self-image from I'm unworthy to, no, I'm spiritual, I'm a kind person. And that's good, it's precious. But the beauty in the Buddhist teachings is that in the Buddhist teachings, inbuilt is a deconstruction of this process. It does not know about it yet, because then it wouldn't start. But there's a deconstruction inbuilt in the teachings. The other problem, talking about what reveals itself when illusion is recognized as illusion and reality is recognized as reality. Or reality is a strange word. When this experience is recognized for what it is, that when one talks about it, one makes it too much into something, something you can find, something you can understand, something which is maybe which seems to be lost, or something you need to arrive at. And of course, you want to arrive as yourself. You want to arrive as the I. You want to bring yourself into the experience of awakening, or the experience of enlightenment, the experience of freedom, or the experience, let's use another word, the experience of fundamental well-being. And here fundamental well-being is that which can reveal itself in any moment, and it has nothing to do with if you have cancer or if you're perfectly healthy. It has nothing to do with this. Because, there are problems, and falling apart and dying will happen anyway. So if you look for fundamental well-being there somewhere, like in better moods, or in nice weather and good food and being healthy, then you're doomed. Because that kind of well-being, which is based on being healthy, is not a safe place, because it will change, for sure. So fundamental well-being is a well-being which is independent from how well your life is going or not going. So it is contentment, it is no more seeking right now. And there's no arriving, because when fundamental well-being reveals itself, it is recognized that you never left. That you were always home. And that you don't need to arrive or come to home. So if there's a sense of you need to arrive home, and you seek home with something which you don't have yet, maybe an understanding, maybe a partner, maybe a place, then that covers up the mystery of this moment, the wholeness of this moment, the fulfillment of this moment. This does not like this, of course not. This will say, but I first have a past without trauma. I first have I have to be sure that I get this job next week. Because why? Why? Because this is where it lives from. It's its food. So these words, non-dual awareness, pure awareness, unconditioned awareness. I mean, they point to something, but when you hear these words, ideally, the recognition would arise that you don't know what it is, and you will never know. So if with the word non-dual awareness something arises, I've heard this before, I think I have a sense, I think 3 weeks ago I had an experience of non-dual awareness, and there was this time where I was in the summer house and I was one with everything, so then that is not non-dual awareness. So when I say non-dual awareness, I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm aware that I don't know what I'm talking about. And I have accepted or recognized that I will never know what I'm talking about. And a good sign that I don't... A good sign that it is not fundamental well-being is when you think that you have understood what it is and that you have understood how to get there. Because there's nothing there. That's almost safer to say there's nothing there. Because that kind of makes us a bit like there's nothing there. So because if I say there's something there, non-dual awareness, your inner being or your essence or Buddha nature or Christ nature or whatever, then that covers up. What it covers up that which is there, kind of. Again, this is ungraspable. So if of course, you listen with the rational soul and you try to make sense of what I'm saying. That's normal, but that's hopeless. And then notice what happens in you when I say that. If you are a very so-called rational person, this probably you are not going to come back. I mean, which is fine for me. I completely understand that. And then there could be all kinds of turbulence happening. And that's okay. But you're not that. That's okay. Just there's enough space here. This is also allowed. So when fundamental well-being reveals itself, that is the end of seeking. So from that moment on, you know what this is about. I mean, you don't know, you don't conceptually know, but fundamental well-being becomes your priority. And it's fine if the egoic process joins that project for a while. Yeah. So there is what reveals itself comes with the recognition that this is the only place where all projects, all seeking dissolves. And there is within that there is the recognition it always has been like that. It always has been like that. So that's why people who have an awakened experience, they say something, actually nothing happened. Nothing awoke. It's not an event. I mean, if you never left home and you arrive home, nothing happened. There was no journey. You just the recognition that you have not left home becomes very obvious. And it's kind of this is so simple, so close. And I tried so much, fixing, controlling, trying to get better, trying to get rid of myself as myself. Trying to get rid of myself as myself. And with the revelation of fundamental well-being, there's an incredible boost of compassion. Because it is recognized that suffering is optional. And it is recognized that there's hope. I mean, if you would want to fix all illusionary problems on this planet one by one, I mean, that's a bit unrealistic. Maybe then it's better to just get drunk every evening and die with 40. So, my assumption is that something in you responds to what I'm saying. And it's nothing to do with blah, 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 blah. It has nothing to do with I'm not smart enough, I'm not beautiful enough, I need to read more books, I need to do more retreats, I need to find guru. It has nothing to do with that. And obviously in our life, that which is always there comes a bit, it's like it comes forward, it's like it comes, it kind of like, quite a lot of people have this experience of being really in the loop, really contracted. Me and my difficult life, me and my difficult feelings, me and my little money, and me who is not loved by others. And something, and sometimes it's kind of triggered by things, but sometimes it's just out of the blue. It's like, and everything is different. Also, you're still in the same mess, and you will continue to be in the same mess. But something has shifted. So somehow there's space, there's love, there's, it doesn't matter so much. It's actually all made up. I'm actually torturing myself with values which are not even mine. I'm torturing myself with the values of my parents. And then suddenly there is, wow, I can just be. I just can be. There's beingness. There's something reveals itself where you are most deeply yourself. And you can't bring the selfing looping into that. So there is, some, and after the break I will guide a meditation like this. There is a kind of, pointing out, Mahamudra, Dzogchen-like guidance, meditations, reflections. But it's tricky. Because what we usually try to do is to go with this into peace. Trying to get something which this is saying you don't have. But sometimes, maybe, what I said so far, it just was a kind of guided meditation. So what I said so far, maybe in some words, or maybe in something you kind of pick up on a different level, that there's a bit of kind of that which is already fulfilled, that which is already whole, that what is unstained, which was never traumatized, which is not afraid. Kind of there's a bit of like, it comes forth, it says like, wow, finally, all this time I'm waiting down here, to heal the whole, healing from inside out, not when we try to heal from outside in, like through all the layers going down there. But if this is revealed, then there's healing from inside out. So that which is already whole, that which is already at peace, can heals with love and with the recognition of emptiness, the whole onion, the whole cocoon. One last thing. There is a very common trap, and that is that the loop tries to bypass how you feel through listening to this and feeling kind of happy. Like, yeah, I'm awareness, I'm one with everything. I'm God, I'm already complete, I'm already fulfilled. So it tries to jump over the necessary transcendence into your being, into your body, and embracing everything what is there with love. It's called spiritual bypassing. And some narrative selves love this kind of teachings. There's nothing to do, you're already complete, blah, 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 blah. And feels kind of good. And it prevents a descending into the human condition, and to embrace. So in order to rest as that which has no fear, you need to go through the fear. You can't explain, you can't tell yourself, you can't talk yourself into fundamental well-being. That would be bypassing.
don't understand the word spiritual bypassing and in connection to, for example, non-dual teachings as Ramana Maharshi and Nisargadatta Maharaji. And I mean, this is like what you said, and it's very ancient, deep teachings. But they are different than the Buddhist teachings, but this is not spiritual bypassing.
It's not spiritual bypassing when that what is being said is not understood. So if you understand it, then it's spiritual bypassing. What I'm saying is that there is the tendency in us to use this kind of teachings as spiritual bypassing. And that's not in the teachings, it's the way we interpret them and the way we listen to them. So that it's the same with mindfulness practice. Mindfulness practice can be a practice which is very much spiritual bypassing, meaning you bypass a necessary healing, a necessary descent into the darkness by imagining figments of light. And it's fine to have sometimes this short rest. So any kind of practice has the potential to just become part of a self-image.
But why does it have to be complicated when it is actually very simple?
Yeah, it's very simple. What makes it complicated is the rational, self-centered loop that makes it complicated. And because that is complicated, the placebo needs to be also complicated.
When you talk about bypassing, is it the same as the shortcut?
Yeah, it is. So let's say an example for bypassing would be, let's say you are a person who's afraid of anger, the energy of anger. So, and then you receive the teachings in Buddhism, kindness, and serving, and being compassionate, cherishing others, and smiling, and being the goody-goody girl. And and then of course the self-image, the selfing process is very happy about that teaching, because it's already good at that in faking. But what actually is, or what could be part of the healing process for that person is to explore anger.
Okay,
yeah?
I agree.
And instead of exploring anger, because it seems to be dangerous for a person who is not familiar with the energy of anger, then this person might use some teachings to kind of jump over this process of transcending into anger and finding healthy way to express that energy. So that would be spiritual bypassing. And that would be spiritual bypassing.
To not descend.
Yeah, to not descend, yeah. So and the same, when you listen to teachings, non-dual teachings, you are awareness, there's nothing to do, this is already home. I mean, I say this stuff also, yeah? And I actually also said that can be used for not descending into human embodiment.
But does that mean that you would see suction for the Western person who is not very developed?
Sorry? Yeah?
Would you see suction for the Western person who is not very developed as a spiritual bypassing?
It depends. I mean, it depends how you listen to it. But like in the traditional frame, how the Dzogchen Mahamudra teachings are shared in the Tibetan tradition, there is actually there is the pointing out to Rigpa, but at the same time you also do the descending and the work and purification, healing, and so on and so on. So the non-dual teachings, they come within a package of practices which then also take care that it's not like just transcending, but it's also descending, both transcending and descending. Okay, so let's have a break.